come to PPC with a real budget. Number 2, make sure your locations, you come to us, you know exactly what you want. 3, make sure your website's technically audited, and let's get PPC running for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to Den this week. I have a special guest, and he is an expert on pay-per-click advertising. He's also a 1SEO employee. He's been here for years now. He's worked at other agencies. Best part, like me, could have went to college anywhere, but went to Temple. Steve Polo, welcome to the show, and thank you for being on.
No, thanks, Lance. Nice to be here.
So, Steve, let's just jump right into it. You're a PPC manager here now for quite a few years. We handle millions and millions of dollars with Google a month. Millions. I thought it was important to have you on because a lot of people out there still in the forums, and when we meet them, thinks pay-per-click advertising doesn't work. What would you say to those people?
Pay-per-click always works with everything. Basically,
okay.
Basically, if you're not doing pay-per-click advertising, you need to be. Specifically, with trends now, more than ever, people need to be online presence. Just not the pandemic-wise. Google even says there's more people shopping on their phone, more people looking on their phone, etc. So basically, if you're not in the game, you got to get in the game ASAP, and you have to be prepared for it.
We're going to jump back into that. Why don't you tell everybody who you are besides a good-looking single guy that likes to play the field, I'm assuming, which I can appreciate. If I look like you, I would too.
Thank you. No. Basically, like I said, started out at Temple University. Really was in the physical therapy field whole first year. Realized that's definitely not what I wanted to do my whole life. Saw the Fox School of Business right there. I said, I need to get in there. Took every marketing course there was, whether it was entrepreneurial marketing, direct marketing, and then there was a class, digital marketing. That's when it hit me. I said, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Being a data guy just like you, I am too, being able to tell a story with that data, because if you don't have data, nothing else matters. That's all the client cares about. If you're not getting an ROI, if you're not getting your right conversions, then I don't know what you're doing. But basically, I'd say that's what got me into it, basically.
So you went to Temple, you're a numbers person, which I can appreciate. I mean, I'm all about numbers. Now you're working at another agency before you met us, because I think you interviewed actually with like Jolynn and CJ, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. My question to you is, what was the difference between that agency, I think it was a smaller agency if I remember correctly,
Correct.
About it, and an agency with over 100 plus employees and Google Premier and Facebook Premier? What's that? Is it a little different?
Yeah.
Same?
With 1SEO, there's a lot more transparency with the client. Not even just with the client, with the people I work with on a day-to-day basis, just making sure that client gets their budget correctly, and we make sure we provide them with an ROI compared to the other companies I've been to.
So, do you like the client-facing part of the job or not?
I love the client-facing part of the job. It allows me to communicate directly with the client, and the client directly communicate with me, so there's no in-betweens on what they need, what they want. They specifically come to me, and I'm able to get that job done sufficiently and effectively.
People have a lot of concerns PPC doesn't work. They do, right? I mean, they've been burnt before, let's be honest. They come in and they're an HVAC company or e-commerce, and they say, I got $500 a month to spend on PPC, which we know that doesn't work, right? So, I mean, that's an automatic no-brainer. Why do you think so many people have such a negative connotation and a negative aura of PPC?
People can read on the internet all they want. They can find, PPC doesn't work for anyone, specifically whether in their HVAC industry or a shopping industry. You can read all Google all you want. Basically, with 1SEO, with the reps we work with at Google, PPC always works, no matter what client you are. As long as you come to us with a budget / what you want, we'll look into it. We have all the services that we need to look at from our standpoint to make sure you're able to convert and get your ROI.
So, if someone's not doing PPC and they're just doing SEO and they're doing remarketing, let's just say in some social media, do you think they're leaving money on the table by not doing PPC?
Definitely. It all works.
He's a believer. He can't doubt. A little forward, but he's a believer.
Like I said, it's a big puzzle piece. It all comes together hand in hand. At the end of the day, basically, without content, you don't have PPC. So you're just in order for PPC to work, you have to have SEO and content as well. So with that being said, you want to be shown at the first page of Google with that SEO and paid. You just want to take up as much space as possible on that first page of Google, and that's what paid advertising allows you to do.
Google's made so many changes. You've been here for years. We've had conversations. You see my frustration with some of the changes they make. I don't think they're always pro the customer. I think a lot of them are just pro Google, which when you have a monopoly, you can do that. What's your opinion on that?
So yeah, definitely a lot changing within this past year and probably the year to come. But basically, specifically with LSAs and Google Screened, as you know of, with the new bidding strategy, that's playing a huge part in every industry right now, specifically in the home services industry. Again, we're still testing it as well because it is fairly new to the entire country. We just got to make sure we're correctly adjusting the bidding adjustments as well, because there is 2 different bidding adjustments right now for LSAs.
Give me your biggest failure that you've seen so far of you handling PPC accounts. Any account, biggest failure, don't mention the name. What's been the biggest lesson you learned handling PPC?
Yeah, the biggest failure is just allocating budget where it needs to be. Specifically whether, again, this is where the client, being completely transparent with each other, just looking at the geographic locations, just allocating budget to the right campaigns and making sure they do get their return on investment. So if they service, for example, they have a ton of services, we just have to make sure we allocate the right budget to the right campaigns that are running.
What are the 3 biggest mistakes you see people making on PPC coming through the door here? Give us top 3.
Come to PPC with a real budget. Number 2, make sure your locations, you come to us, you know exactly what you want. 3, make sure your website's technically audited, and let's get PPC running for you.
All right, I like how you keep saying we. That's great, but
I'm sorry.
You know, that should be for anyone, right?
That's what
that's for anyone. And I think, listen, you're proud of being one SEO. I'm not going to fault you for that. I love it. I mean, I'm pro one SEO too, but I want the viewers not to feel like they have to come to one SEO. I want them to get some of that too. So that's good. But I mean, my next question for you too is, give me your biggest success story on PPC, because I know you have tons of them. You've been here for years. If someone had to jump out right now, what would be your biggest success story? Who and why?
Biggest success story I've ever had with here, Radiant Plumbing. Definitely just being able to look at the locations and expanding their truck size and being able to even expand geographic area with the amount of budget they have. Again, just making sure they have more clientele now more than ever, specifically with the pandemic, and just making sure we're still hitting them with more.
I think you came on right when Radiant came on about the same time, right?
I did, yes.
And you've seen them grow from about 10 million to about 40 million now.
Correct.
So you love it.
Yeah.
That's right. You handled that account for Brad all the way through. That's. I forgot about that. That's a good success story. Yeah, I'd be proud of them too. Okay, so here's a straight up question for you. You work here at One SEO. You do PPC. You believe in it clearly. You see the millions we spend every month on PPC across the board here. What would you say to somebody that's doing PPC on their own, or they're using Google Express? I mean, AdWords Express.
I would say if you're doing PPC on your own, you have to make sure you're up to date with all the new gadgets, new trends that are coming your way. If you're not doing it with an agency or specifically a partner, again, just be aware of your surroundings.
Where would you go to find some of that information? Tell us some of your top things to read.
WordStream is usually a go-to.
Okay.
I would say that's the most suffice. And then again, being here with just the Google reps, making sure it comes from firsthand, it's great just to double check with the WordStream.
So me and you know, straight up, you know, and I believe people watching this should know this, because there's going to be employees that are going to watch this, or potential employees and clients. Me and you've had challenges at times together, right? We've had serious conversations. What would you say your hardest moment at One SEO has been as an employee?
Hardest moment, again, just with communication skills regarding the internal teams. I would say that's the biggest pet peeve here. Again, we need more communication now more than ever. So just, again, making sure we're all on the same page and making sure we're handling our clients on a day-to-day basis, communicating with them is definitely the biggest pet peeve and biggest lesson I've learned here.
Is that getting better as you've seen since you've been here?
100%.
Does it piss you off when you bring a client on and they're so gung-ho at first and they disappear for 2 weeks at a time and then they come back?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
And that pisses everyone off here, and it's funny because everyone talks about it. This guy signed with us, they're happy, and now they're just disappear for a week or two.
Again, we need the transparency there, just from not even a digital advertising standpoint, but whether it's content or SEO, it's just making sure, again, that client comes to us and has real life expectations.
What's your favorite part besides me at One SEO?
Favorite part is definitely just the team, not even just the team, but the clients as well. I work from clients on all over the country, which is awesome just to see them grow. But definitely dealing with them with a special team is even more great. So,
if you could change one thing at One SEO, what would it be?
Oh man, you hit me hard there. Right now, I wouldn't change anything right now.
Bullshit alert. Bullshit alert. Come on. Besides me, you better not say me. What would you change?
I would definitely change just the way some things are structured. Again, just dealing with how many clients on a day-to-day basis. Maybe we can just definitely fix some things in that department. But like I said, again, I wouldn't say change anything. There's more room for opportunity, I would say.
It's people don't understand working in the agency world. It's fast paced and it's growing.
Exactly. If you don't like that though, I definitely don't recommend this for you. So I like
you've seen some serious growth here, haven't you?
100%.
And it's not stopping. Let's talk about that growth, right? You're in the PPC field. You get recruited. People get recruited all the time. Does it worry you that you've seen so many agencies go out of business during this pandemic?
It does, yes. I mean, you definitely have to, whether you're a 1-year advertising person or you've been around 4 or 5 years. Again, fast-paced environment. You have to make sure your trends.
25 years.
Or 25 years. But again, you just.
That was bad for 46, though.
Oh no, definitely. No, I definitely think as long as you're keeping up with the trends, you're doing your research. Again, just making sure you align with everything and play by the rules of Google. Unfortunately.
No, but I'm saying right now, other agencies have laid people off during this pandemic. Right now, they've shut down, they closed, this and that. Does that concern you when you look at other agencies? Do you wonder what's going on there, or do you kind of understand why they've shut down?
I definitely understand why they shut down, just depending on their clientele. I think definitely not firing or laying off anyone for paid advertising for clients, because clients need us now more than ever. I mean, again, if you're not doing digital marketing, now is the time to do so with the trends coming in 2021. So,
what are some of the biggest trends coming, you think? What do you think is going to be some of the hot spots?
Definitely, again, more conversions, more traffic, obviously through mobile with people working from home and stuff like that. However, again, specifically from a PPC standpoint, a lot of things that are being pushed on is smart bidding. So what that is Google's algorithm kind of tests previous history. However, if you don't have previous history, it kind of trends what they think is the trend. So that's definitely a big push. We just got to make sure, whether we're testing that, we have to make sure exactly if it's working correctly or not. So that's definitely a huge trend to look out for in 2021.
What's one of your favorite things to do?
Favorite things to do? Besides playing sports, obviously looking at new technologies. I'm just, again, kind of that geek. Looking at new technologies that
you don't look like a geek, my man.
Changes the world. I mean, I'm always looking at technologies that change the world. I mean, I saw a dog robot playing
what?
I saw a dog robot the other day playing fetch from MIT, so nothing really is surprising though.
A dog robot.
A dog robot.
And that's what you're into. That's your thing.
No.
Are you going to get a dog robot? At least it won't shit in your house.
Exactly. I mean, I wouldn't get it, but again, that's the new technology that's out there nowadays. So I'm always on top of it. But again, some
maybe
stuff
you
might
get
sneak
a
by.
robot girlfriend. You're single. She won't give you any problems.
I could get it. Yeah, I might have to.
Did you ever see Weird Science?
I have not. No.
Oh my God, these kids, people, these kids. They got to get with what's good. But he does know PPC, and he knows it better than most people in the country, and he's gotten results for a lot of people. That's why I wanted you here, because I don't think people understand how important PPC is. I don't think they understand Google pay-per-click advertising makes up almost 50% of what SEO's revenue.
100%.
They don't realize how much we do with Google. It's pretty impressive, actually. On the final roar, what would you say? I'm going to ask you 2 final roars. Number 1, what would you say to every young person like you that wants to get into digital marketing? I'll let you answer that one first.
Every young person, I mean, again, I always want them to follow I want them to follow their dreams. Again, depending on my personal life, like how I got here, if it's right for you, it's right for you. I mean, definitely don't be afraid to take your chances if you want to be in this field. I know it's definitely up pace, so I definitely think you got to take your time and make sure this is what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Second final roar. To all the business owners out there that have tried PPC and it failed, and people that just don't think PPC works and it's too expensive, what would you say to them?
I would say, again, you can't be afraid. With all these competitors coming in the market now more than ever, you have to be a presence on the digital side. Again, if you're not showing up on Google when someone types in that something in Google, you're not doing it right. Because now there's more competitors now more than ever, and we want to make sure that you're showing up on the first page of Google.
Everyone, I say it all the time, you're just one click away, your customer, to go into your competition. Just remember that. One click away from going to your competition. Steve, Polo, thank you so much for being on The Den. I appreciate it. It's time to build. Let's effing go, everybody. Steve, you're the man. Everyone, take your PPC serious And Steve is single ladies out there that are watching this. You know where to find him, www.oneseo.com or on his LinkedIn profile.
Thanks, Lance.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please don't forget to follow me at Lance Bachmann on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me on Facebook at Lance Bachmann Digital. And every Thursday we drop a new podcast. Don't forget to listen to it. We're giving out great content. And remember this is the time to build your business right now. Let's effing go, everybody.